Another point, the availability of arms. Our country is awash with arms. But if Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, northeastern Nigeria are all insecure, part of it necessary for the manufacture of improvised explosive devices. So much so that two Europeans have specific numbers and codes on them. And those codes and those numbers routinely have been traced to the stockpiles. Now, let me make this point very clearly, my dear colleagues. I am not expecting these insecurities to transform so radically that we ourselves become targets, not in the immediate future. We will not become targets in infrastructures for violence elsewhere. The storage facilities in a lot of our mines are bogus, so it's easy to get access to the explosives, to the electronic detonators, to the courts. So if you take, for example, 3 mines or 3 mining companies, one in Takoradi, one in Takwa, and one in Bolgatanga. These mining companies have such weak stockpile management systems that explosives have leaked out of these mines consistently. That has allowed the violence to go elsewhere. So small arms and light weapons proliferation in Ghana is a threat to us, but certainly is fueling violence elsewhere. Organized crime. We are now seeing, particularly in the rosewood business, charcoal, stolen motorbikes, fertilizers, plastic equipment, but not least also the trade in gold and diamonds. Organized criminality is fueling all this trade. Closely related to that is my earlier point about the threat of terror. We are not going as a nation to be hit now, but it raises concerns, particularly when we talk about the small arms flows, the rosewood business, and the galamsey, that we have launched this major campaign. See something, say something. My dear friends, that campaign was a campaign that was made in terms of preventing the presence of violent extremists. But violent extremists live in our midst. Extremists need small arms and explosives to be able to work. Extremists need the finance sector. Extremists need hospitals. Now, if see something, say something, a campaign that I have been extremely critical of, because for me, it was empty talk. It was an opportunity for people to spend some money, get some people to come and dance. And as a nation that loves dancing, after that day of dancing, that is the end of it. If we need to see something and say something, why aren't we seeing the galamsey going on? Why are we not saying something? And why are we not responding? What it means in practice is that if those who seek to hurt us want to do it, we will see it and we will not say it. So once more, the church becomes important here. What can the church do to ensure that when we see something, we will say something? How do we encourage the congregation to be able to be bold enough to see something and to say something? Can it be an outlet that when we see something, we can come to our pastor and say something, but I am afraid to report it. But because of your stature and your role, you can say it. So we need to find innovative ways of ensuring that we don't get to the brink, because we are getting there. But that is the second part or the last part of the lecture. What can the church do, and how can the church become a peace builder? Okay. Now, what I'm saying about Ghana might sound harsh, but that is the reality. You know, I've said these things for almost 40 years. I've taught them for 40 years. I've written about them for 40 years and spoken about them for 40 years. And I'll keep on speaking about them until something changes. And I'm talking about the church as a peace builder, not peace building in the context of waiting for the crisis to happen before we go in to rebuild peace. No. I'm talking about the church as a peace builder in a conflict preventive way. That the role of the church is to help in preventing the insecurities that we